I think it's really great news, frankly. I think it's a very powerful and positive message about London. It was interesting, last week and the week before, I've been over on the East Coast of America, in New York and Washington, and it was really interesting how much interest there was in the London mayoral contest, and most of it was centered around the fact that this great cosmopolitan city could potentially elect a Muslim mayor.
Now, you say all of that. A lot of people say Zac Goldsmith's campaign was, if you like, expressing the very opposite sentiments to the ones you've just expressed, which was dog whistle, bringing, in quite subtle ways, religion, race into the election. I don't know what your thoughts were about that campaign.
The overall impression I got from Zac's campaign was of a rather old-fashioned and frankly rather uninspiring campaign, and I was really surprised about that because Zac, who I know pretty well, is actually a really interesting, thoughtful, somewhat anti-establishment character in politics, and he's got very interesting set of views of different kinds on different issues, and it seemed to me that none of that actually was conveyed in his campaign, which, to be honest, I found rather weird. But what I would say is that at the very least it's rather careless to allow your campaign to be characterized in that way, and frankly it's rather amazing that of all people it's Zac Goldsmith who ends up, if you like, bringing back the nasty party label to the Conservative Party.
Oh, you think something like that can be used to retoxify the Tories? You were obviously involved there, trying to detoxify them back in the early Cameron days.
I think that that's certainly what people are saying. Now, as I say, I'm not in a position to judge whether it's fair or not. But, you know, I've been involved in campaigns, and you have to be careful to make sure that what you say and do can't be misrepresented in ways that are fundamentally unhelpful. Of course, your opponents are going to say things that you don't agree with and try and distort what you do and so on. That is part of a campaign. But I think that the way that this particular accusation has been allowed to stick, frankly, even if that's unfair, shows that there was something there that at the very least was careless, and I think long-term could be pretty damaging, yes.
I'm sensing that you prefer something a little more positive and maybe think that this negativity has shown its limits.
It seems to me that Zac's campaign was a real missed opportunity because London, it feels to me, is the kind of place where you could really do well with a more modern, less partisan, more inspiring and optimistic kind of campaign, just given the kind of city it is and the fact that it's not necessarily the case that you've got so many people there who are dyed-in-the-wool Labour or Conservative. It's a real mixture, and I think that therefore a fresh, modern kind of campaign could really have succeeded very well in London.